You bring home a pothos or a fiddle leaf fig. It looks full of life. You water it, you place it near a window, you follow the instructions on the tag. And then, within weeks, the leaves turn yellow, droop, and fall off. If you search the top online plant forums, you will find thousands of variations of the exact same question. Why is my plant dying even though I'm doing everything right? Most of the time, the problem isn't a lack of effort. It's a series of invisible environmental pressures that we put on a plant without realizing we're doing it. To keep a houseplant alive, we have to move past rigid, human-centric checklists. We have to learn to translate the physical, biological feedback the plant is actually giving us. When a plant's leaves start to droop and turn yellow, our first instinct is to assume it's thirsty, so we add water. But watering too frequently, before the soil has had a chance to dry, is the single most common cause of plant death. In wet soil, water fills every air pocket, pushing out oxygen. Without oxygen, roots decay. Once rotted, they lose the ability to pull in moisture. The plant starves for water, despite sitting in a pool of it, appearing extremely thirsty. The easiest way to avoid this is checking the soil a few centimeters below the surface. If it's damp, you wait. The plant tells you when it's ready. Then there are the crispy brown leaf edges. Most people blame their watering habits for this too, assuming the soil is too dry. In this visualization, you can see the mismatch happening. Indoor heating and air conditioning systems strip moisture from the air. That dry air pulls water out of the plant's leaves faster than the roots can pull water up to replace it. You can fix this by creating a localized, humid microclimate. Grouping plants or setting them on a tray of wet pebbles helps trap that moisture. Our homes are built for our comfort, dry and temperature controlled. To tropical biology, that environment is hostile. Success requires managing the atmosphere rather than pouring water. There are also hidden variables in how we perceive light and space. A room that feels bright to the human eye is often incredibly dim to a plant. If you can comfortably read a book in a corner, we call that moderate light. But for a plant, that is a state of slow starvation. Many low-light plants just survive. When a plant lacks photon energy, it reacts. It might stretch its stems toward a light source or drop leaves to conserve its remaining energy. Eventually, a plant will hit a physical limit inside its pot. Many owners avoid repotting because they worry about damaging the plant. Notice what happens in this root-bound pot. As roots expand, they displace soil until almost nothing is left to retain moisture. When watered, liquid bypasses the tangled mass and drains straight out. Moving to a slightly larger pot fixes this. But choosing a massively oversized pot is dangerous. The large volume of empty soil acts like a giant sponge, holding more moisture than roots can process, leading straight back to root rot. These factors are all linked. Plants in low light grow more slowly and drink less water, making them even more vulnerable to root rot in an oversized pot. Every symptom is a response to these specific biological limits. Which brings us back to that question, why is my plant dying even though I'm doing everything right? Experienced growers don't get better by perfectly avoiding mistakes. They get better by making them and treating every yellow leaf and crispy edge as diagnostic data. Plants are highly adaptable systems. They survive in the wild without us. They just need us to drop our assumptions and observe the patterns. When you respond to the correct physical signals, the turnaround is immediate. You see a burst of new leaves, thicker stems, and real active growth. The idea of having a black thumb is an illusion. Once you learn the language of your plants, the guesswork vanishes, and what used to feel like a frustrating chore turns into a rewarding biological partnership.